Hi, and welcome to English-Fabule. Are you learning English? Great. Let's learn English with a very interesting story. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. Let's get started.
On April 12, 1961, early in the morning, a special day began at Baikonur Cosmodrome. This was a launch site in the Soviet Union. A very large rocket stood tall, pointed at the sky. Many people watched, feeling nervous but also excited. This was a time known as the Cold War. Two big countries, the Soviet Union and the United States of America, were in a race. They wanted to be first to achieve great things in space. This was called the space race, and it caused a lot of tension around the world. The world waited to see who would win this important part of the competition. Inside the small spacecraft on top of the rocket sat a young man. His name was Yuri Gagarin. He was a 27-year-old pilot from a humble family. He was about to do something no human had ever done. He would travel beyond Earth and into outer space. He sat calmly, ready for the great unknown journey. At exactly 9 o'clock and 7 minutes, the powerful engines of the rocket roared to life. A huge amount of fire and smoke pushed the rocket up. Slowly, then quickly, it climbed into the blue sky. As the rocket left the ground, Yuri Gagarin spoke one simple, famous word: "Poyechali." In English, this means "let's go." With that word, he started a journey that would change history forever. He became the first human being to fly in space. After his successful flight, Yuri Gagarin became a global hero. He was more than just a pilot. He was a symbol for all people. He showed how brave humans could be and what we can achieve. He stood for courage and progress. His famous smile was known around the world, and he gave hope and inspiration to millions. People everywhere looked at him as a real-life explorer, someone who opened a new door for humanity. He proved that humans could reach for impossible dreams. This book will tell the full story of Yuri Gagarin. We will learn about his simple life as a boy in a small village. We will see how he became the world's first cosmonaut, going from Earth to the stars. Then we will look at his later life and the sad, mysterious way he died. His journey was short, but it left a mark on history that lasts even today. He was a simple farm boy who reached for the stars and touched them. 2. A boy from a small village. Yuri Alexeyevich Gagarin was born on March 9, 1934. His home was Klushino, a small village about 100 miles west of Moscow. His family was a peasant family. His father, Alexey, worked as a carpenter and also as a farmer. His mother, Anna, was a milkmaid. They lived on a collective farm, which was common in the Soviet Union at that time. Life in the village was simple, but often very hard. They worked long days, following the seasons of the farm. When Yuri was just 8 years old, a terrible war began. Nazi Germany attacked the Soviet Union in World War II. This war brought much suffering. Yuri's father had to go and fight. The war affected Yuri and his family deeply. They were forced to move from their home more than once as the war continued. These difficult years shaped Yuri's early life, teaching him about struggle and survival. During the war, a special event happened near his home. A Soviet warplane, a Yak fighter, had to land in a field close to Klushino. The pilots who came out of the plane wore uniforms with many medals. They looked like true heroes. Young Yuri was very impressed by this sight. This moment made a big impact on him. It started his dream of flying and a strong interest in aviation. He wanted to be like those brave pilots. After the war ended in 1946, Yuri's family moved to a larger town named Gzhatsk. This allowed Yuri to get a better education. He liked subjects like mathematics and physics. In 1950, when he was 16, Yuri started working at a steel plant in Lyubertsy near Moscow. He trained to be a foundryman, working with hot metal. While working full-time, he also went to evening classes to finish his education. He showed great determination to learn and improve his life. His dream of flying soon took a more serious turn. In 1951, Yuri moved to Saratov for more technical training. But he still wanted to fly planes, so he joined a local flying club in Saratov. On weekends, he spent his time learning to pilot light aircraft. These were his first experiences controlling an airplane. He learned quickly and showed natural talent. By 1955, when he was 21, Yuri had become a skilled pilot. He graduated from the Soviet Air Force Academy with good results. He was now ready for bigger challenges, ready to fly faster, more powerful planes in the Soviet Air Force. 3. Training for space. After joining the Soviet Air Force, Yuri Gagarin wished to become a cosmonaut. In 1959, he applied for the secret space program. More than 200 fighter pilots wanted to go to space, but only 20 were chosen for the first group of cosmonauts. Yuri was one of them. These chosen pilots went to Star City, a special hidden facility near Moscow. Here, they started very hard training. It tested their bodies and their minds. They had to be ready for the unknown challenges of space. The tests were unlike anything before seen. One test was in a machine called a centrifuge. This machine spun very fast. It pushed the pilots with strong forces, just like a rocket launch. This helped them get used to the pressure. Another test involved spending long hours in special rooms. These rooms were completely silent, with no sounds at all. This challenged their minds and tested how well they could handle being alone. They also learned to stay calm when there was little oxygen, preparing them for extreme situations. These exercises showed them they could only depend on themselves and their training. Yuri trained with other strong pilots. There were 6 main candidates, often called the Vostok 6. German Titov was another very good pilot, almost as strong as Yuri. They were friends, but also saw each other as rivals for the first flight. All of them showed great skill and courage. However, Soviet officials finally chose Yuri Gagarin for the first flight. Many things made him the best choice. He was an excellent pilot and always stayed calm, even under great stress. He could make good decisions when things were difficult. His background as a working-class person was also important to Soviet leaders. They wanted the first cosmonaut to represent the common Soviet people. Most importantly, Yuri had a very friendly, open smile and a good personality. He looked like a hero and was easy for people to like. Soviet leader Nikita Khrushchev was especially impressed by Yuri's image, knowing it was important for the world to see the first man in space as a capable and inspiring figure. 4. The first flight. The morning of April 12, 1961 was cold at the Baikonur Cosmodrome. Yuri Gagarin prepared for his mission. He was 27 years old and a military pilot. Despite the great danger, he felt calm. Engineers performed the final checks, ensuring every system was ready for the historic journey. Yuri put on his heavy spacesuit and carefully entered the small Vostok 1 spacecraft. He sat inside the tight capsule, waiting. "Poyechali," he said with a strong voice, meaning "let's go." And then, with a thunderous roar, the powerful R-7 rocket lifted off the ground, pushing Yuri high into the Soviet sky. The Vostok 1 spacecraft was a round metallic capsule, weighing about 4.7 tons. It was designed to carry one person into orbit. Yuri was mostly a passenger during his trip. The spacecraft flew by itself, guided by complex computer systems from the ground. He had no direct manual control over the ship once it was in orbit, trusting the engineers' work completely. This was a huge step for human exploration. Yuri spent 108 minutes orbiting Earth. He traveled incredibly fast, reaching speeds of about 27,400 kilometers per hour. His Vostok 1 ship went up to 327 kilometers above our planet. Inside, he experienced weightlessness, a strange and wonderful feeling of floating freely. From his small window, he saw Earth below him. It was a stunning blue and white marble with clear oceans and swirling clouds. He crossed oceans and continents in just moments. He was the first person to witness our planet's beauty from space. When it was time to come back home, a serious problem happened. As the spacecraft began its descent, a part of the ship, called the service module, did not separate correctly from Yuri's capsule. This was a dangerous malfunction, making the capsule spin wildly. Yuri was in great danger, feeling the strong forces. But the heat shield worked well. It protected his small capsule from the intense heat of re-entering Earth's atmosphere. Slowly, the spinning stopped, and the capsule continued its path downward. As the spacecraft came much lower, Yuri ejected from the capsule. This was the planned way for him to land safely. He parachuted down alone, floating towards the ground. He landed in a soft potato field in the rural Saratov region of the Soviet Union. An elderly farmer named Anna Takhtarova and her granddaughter Rita saw him. They were completely shocked to see a man in a bright orange spacesuit wearing a large white helmet in their field. It was an amazing and very strange sight for them. Yuri Gagarin, the first man in space, had returned to Earth. 5. A famous hero. After his spaceflight, Yuri Gagarin quickly became a massive hero. In the Soviet Union, people felt great joy and pride.
Soviet leader Nikita Khrushchev personally welcomed Gagarin, hugging him and comparing him to Christopher Columbus, who discovered a new world. Moscow saw a huge celebration in Red Square.
It was so big that some people compared it to the end of World War II. Across the Soviet Union, streets were named after him, and new monuments were built in his honor. He was awarded the highest national titles, including Hero of the Soviet Union, and was promoted to Major. Gagarin was no longer just a skilled pilot. He became a powerful symbol and a diplomatic tool for the Soviet Union. The government used his success to show the world its great scientific and technological power during the Cold War. He represented the idea of the perfect Soviet man, brave, intelligent, and from a working-class background. This led to a famous peace mission world tour. Gagarin traveled to more than 30 countries across different continents. In India, massive crowds of thousands gathered, breaking through security just to get a glimpse of him. He also visited Great Britain, where he was invited to lunch with Queen Elizabeth II. This was a unique event during a time of tension between East and West. People in Western countries were genuinely interested in Gagarin. They saw his youth, his charm, and his humility. He showed that humanity could achieve amazing things, which many appreciated beyond politics. However, this constant public life also brought great pressure. Gagarin had to keep up the image of the perfect Soviet man. He was always under observation and had to travel almost all the time. He gave countless speeches, attended many ceremonies, and posed for endless photographs. He was, in effect, a propaganda asset for the state, and the government used him relentlessly. This intense fame and the non-stop public demands took a big personal toll. Gagarin often spoke about wanting to return to a more normal life and to do more meaningful work, like flying planes again. Being a famous hero had a heavy price for him. 6. Life on the ground. After his amazing flight, Yuri Gagarin became a hero to the whole world. But being so famous brought its own problems. The Soviet government wanted to keep their important symbol safe. They decided he should not fly on dangerous space missions again. They were afraid to lose him, as he was a powerful sign of Soviet success. This made Gagarin feel sad and without a clear goal. He loved flying more than anything. Like some other early space travelers, he found it hard to live a normal life after his incredible journey. He faced personal struggles, including drinking too much alcohol, as he tried to find new meaning. To keep him close to the space program, Gagarin was given a new job. In 1962, he became the deputy training director at Star City, the cosmonaut training center. In this role, he helped choose and train the next group of cosmonauts. He shared his unique experiences and knowledge with them, helping to prepare them for their own space journeys. This was important work, giving him purpose. But Gagarin still dreamed of being in space himself. He began training again for a possible second flight on the new Soyuz spacecraft. However, a very sad event shook everyone. In 1968, the Soyuz 1 spacecraft was planned to launch. Gagarin's good friend, Vladimir Komarov, was chosen to fly it. Gagarin and other knowledgeable experts saw many serious problems and design flaws with the spacecraft. They strongly asked for the mission to be stopped or delayed because it was simply too risky. But the Soviet leaders wanted more space victories for political reasons. They chose to ignore the safety warnings. Komarov went on the mission and tragically died when his spacecraft crashed upon returning to Earth. This terrible loss deeply affected Gagarin, who felt the pain of losing a friend to avoidable risks. This tragedy made Gagarin even more determined to return to active flying. He did not want to be just a public face or a person on the ground. He wanted to be a pilot again, doing hands-on work. He fought hard to regain his status as a fighter pilot. After much effort, he was allowed to fly military aircraft once more. He began taking part in routine training flights in a MiG-15 UTI jet, finally getting back into the cockpit and doing what he loved most. 7. The last flight. On March 27, 1968, a sad day came. Yuri Gagarin prepared for a normal training flight. He flew a MiG-15 UTI aircraft, a special plane for teaching. With him was Vladimir Sirogin, an experienced pilot who was his instructor. They took off from Chkalovsky Aerodrome, near Moscow, at 10:18 in the morning. Other pilots, like Vladimir Aksyonov, had their flights canceled because of bad weather. But Gagarin and Sirogin decided to fly. The flight was part of their regular practice. It was meant to be simple. However, at 10:30 a.m., something went wrong. Gagarin and Sirogin did not answer radio calls anymore. Control room staff tried to reach them, but there was only silence. People at the aerodrome soon realized there was a big problem. A search operation quickly started. Helicopters flew over the area, looking for the missing plane. Later that afternoon, at 2:50 p.m., search teams found parts of the wreckage. The crash site was in a thick forest, about 65 kilometers from the aerodrome. It was near a place called Kurzhach. The next day, rescuers found Yuri Gagarin's body. He was only 34 years old. The news was a big shock for the whole country. The Soviet Union lost its first and most famous cosmonaut. People could not believe it. The government declared a day of national mourning. This was special as it was for a person, not a head of state, but a hero who died serving his country. Yuri Gagarin and Vladimir Sirogin were buried together. Their ashes now rest in the Kremlin wall in Moscow. The nation said goodbye to its beloved hero, who once flew to the stars. 8. The mystery remains. After the terrible crash on March 27, 1968, the Soviet government started a big investigation. They worked in secret. The official report said that Yuri Gagarin and his instructor Vladimir Sirogin made a sharp turn. This was done to avoid something in the air, maybe a weather balloon or a high cloud. This sudden move caused their MiG-15 UT plane to enter a supercritical flight regime, meaning it became uncontrollable and crashed. However, many people doubted this story. The strong secrecy around the investigation made rumors spread quickly. Some whispers said that the KGB, the secret police, might have been involved. Other theories suggested Gagarin was not well or that there was sabotage. The lack of open information left many questions unanswered and allowed many different ideas to grow. Years passed with no clear answers. Then, in 2011, some official papers were declassified, made public. These documents repeated the idea of avoiding a balloon or cloud, but they did not give all the details. A very important voice in this mystery came from Alexei Leonov, another famous cosmonaut. Leonov was the first person to walk in space. He was also part of the official committee looking into Gagarin's death. Leonov later shared his own theory. He said that on the day of the crash, he heard two very loud booms in the distance. He believed a faster Sukhoi jet, not meant to be in that area, flew very close to Gagarin's plane. This Sukhoi jet might have been breaking the sound barrier, creating a powerful shock wave. This shock wave and the strong air movement could have pushed Gagarin's plane into a deadly spin. Leonov said this was not a secret anymore, but a clear case of aviation rules being broken. So, the mystery of Yuri Gagarin's death still stays with us today. No single answer is accepted by everyone as the full truth. Despite this, his place in history is clear and bright. Yuri Gagarin was the first human being to journey into space. He orbited Earth and saw our planet from above. This incredible achievement proved what humans could do. It showed the world that a simple farm boy, born in a small village, could reach for the stars and touch them. He became a global icon, a symbol of bravery and discovery for all mankind. His story continues to inspire people around the world. The main cosmonaut training center is named after him, and his hometown also carries his name. He left a permanent and amazing mark on the history of humanity and space exploration. What do you think truly happened to Yuri Gagarin that day? Share your thoughts.
Hey there! Just a second before you go. If you learned something new today, please give this video a like, write your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel. It only takes a second, and it really, really helps to create even better English videos for you. Your support means the world,